amazing thing about passion, if you love something, if you have a strong passion for something, you would go to the extreme to try to understand or try to get it.
One day you might look up and see me playing the game at 50. Never say never, because limits, like fears, are often just an illusion.
I still remember my principal saying that you probably should go to Air Force Academy because you're guaranteed a job after you graduate. I chose not to take his advice. Once I made that shot, it made me feel like, hey, I made the right choice for Michael Jordan. And this thing is going to turn out to be a positive situation. And I just gained confidence from that point forward.
I want my life to be my life. I don't want to sit here and constantly reiterate things that I've said countless number of times. And at the end of the day, my time in the spotlight is dwindling. And I want to be able to control what I can, what I do and what I don't want to do and blah, blah, blah. Someone else needs to step into the limelight and either enjoy it, or prosper from it, or grow, or have people understand who they are, blah, blah, blah. Me, I need no more admiration. I've had enough, and it's been great. I'm still going to be a very positive force within the community, and, with the kids of tomorrow. But I got my own kids. I got my own wife. I'm 54 years old. I want to be able to go through a day or go through a week not worrying about what I got to do Wednesday, what I got to do Thursday, what I got to do, because I never enjoy Monday. I want to be able to, and sometimes I surprise the shit out of myself saying, look, I got nothing to do today.
Michael, which were you more proud of, your athletic skills or the mental skills that you brought to the game, and which was more difficult to keep up?
Well, I came in here with the physical skills. To some degree, I was born with the appetite to enhance it as I got older and as I played the game. But the mental skills came with the education of the game, that either I learned from Coach Smith before I got here, or I learned in the course of the coaching staff that I've been endured with. Tex Winter probably being the most, because he was probably the one that would criticize my game more than anybody. And, to me, that's a plus. That's a driving force for me. But the mental part is hard, because you have to really learn, taking everything that you've learned over a period of time and apply that to your game and tie that into the physical aspect to your game and make the complete basketball player that you try to become. So physically it's a little bit easier, but the mental part is the hardest part. And I think that's the part that separates the good players from the great players.
What about your biggest disappointment?
Once again, that's the same analogy. Disappointment to me, to win, you got to lose. To be successful, you got to have something that's not successful. To be happy, you got to have disappointment. So I think all of those things have evolved and happened to make me who I am and understand the benefits and the privileges I have for being who I am, and not to wear it on my sleeve, be very humble about it. That's one thing my parents taught me very well is, don't wear your reputation, don't wear your accolades, don't wear your personality on your sleeve. Let it happen, let it be you. It is who you are. Don't hide from it, but don't wear it, rub it in people's faces.
What's your greatest disappointment in sports?
I haven't had any disappointments. Sports is a tool that teaches, and it teaches you bad things. It can also teach you good things. It's how you perceive those things. I've looked at every experience that I've had, negative and positive, and taken that as a positive. If I wouldn't change anything, because I think it would alter some of the other things that happened. So when I look back, I can't say that I've had any bad things happen. Sure, you don't want bad things to happen, but you deal with bad things. You can't have good or without bad.
Who's your favorite guy to play against?
Myself. If I can really elaborate on why I said myself more so than another athlete, is that because a lot of times I had to battle with myself to keep challenging myself. That to me was why I would say that the biggest battle was myself, because when you get to a certain pinnacle, you got to find some ways to keep going out there for 82 games. My competitive drive is far greater than anyone else that I've met. I think that I thrive on that. I think that's my biggest motivation in life, is to compete, find different competitions and certain things in life and try to overcome that, be it positive or negative. But I have yet to meet someone who is as competitive as me, and I just feel that much confident about my competitive drive.
Michael, which were you more proud of, your athletic skills or the mental skills that you brought to the game, and which was more difficult to keep up?
Well, I came in here with the physical skills. I was, to some degree, I was born with the appetite to enhance it as I got older and as I played the game. But the mental skills came with the education of the game. You know, that either I learned from Coach Smith before I got here, or I learned in the course of the coaching staff that I've been endured with. Tex Winter probably being the most, because he was probably the one that would criticize my game more than anybody. And you know, to me, that's a plus. That's a driving force for me. But the mental part is hard, because you have to really learn, taking everything that you've learned over a period of time and apply that to your game and tie that into the physical aspects of your game and make the complete basketball player that you try to become. You know, so physically it's a little bit easier, but the mental part is the hardest part, and I think that's the part that separates the good players from the great players.
There's a lot of conversations about what your game is capable of achieving, and I'm a firm believer that if you have a good game, your game is going to say that. You know, you don't have to say it. So I guess it's trying to play down some of the trash talking, you know, animosity that's between in words and the whole promotional thing. Let your game be your promotion, your marketing tool. And that was our whole era, you know. Our game gave the labels of what our basketball skills were. And then the marketing came back around that. Now it's changed, you know. So I'm trying to revert back to where your game do all your talking instead of what we may say and what someone else may say about your game. Sometimes when I do things and I really don't know exactly what I've done until I see it back on replay. And I wow myself sometimes. I mean, but I go in with the notion of scoring the basket, and sometimes the defense can alter that. But a lot of times the instincts take over, or you know, the creativeness that I have in my game sometimes take over, and I don't really know what happened until I see it again. Right.
You've had a lot of fantastic moments in sports. What's the greatest moment?
I mean, what started everything.
Don't say it. Don't say the shot against Jazz.
That was the greatest moment, because I think that took me from if I had any doubts about playing on college level or playing with the big guys, you know, that shot gave me the confidence that I belonged where I was, you know, and that it was, you know, if you put your mind to doing whatever you want to do, you know, good things can happen, you know. So before anything else happened, with Michael Jordan outside of that game, you know, against you guys, that shot gave me the idea that I could be better than what people think, and I can, you know, surpass any expectations that I may have for myself. My mental preparations for the game are very different than most. I try to relax myself. I'm a jokester, a prankster, if you want to say it that way. I listen to music, I joke around with the guys, I take my whole mind away from the game itself, and then when the time comes to focus on the game, I focus on my athletic skills and putting it together with the team, and somehow collectively going out and doing our jobs each and every day. I challenge myself to be the best basketball player every moment that I'm playing the game of basketball. And sometimes that means tricking yourself in your mind to say that you can't do this, or your weaknesses are here, but yet you still try to work on improving those weaknesses. A lot of people may say, well, Michael Jordan never had weaknesses. Michael Jordan had weaknesses. He just had to dig deep inside himself to figure out what they were and challenge himself to improve those weaknesses. So mentally, I like to challenge myself to go out and play a perfect basketball game. Although I know you can't do that. It's practically impossible to play a perfect game, but that doesn't mean you can't challenge yourself to do that.
Is there a record that you wish you could get that you can't get now that you're not playing? And two, are you worried about the spirit of the young players in the game?
No, it's not a record that I didn't get that I would love to have gotten. I mean, I'm pretty sure people would say I like to lead and score the most points in the history of the game, but that I'd rather give up that to get 6 titles, you know, so it's a compensation there. In terms of the youth of the game, I think that, you know, we really have to be very patient with them and find more guidance to them to still enjoy the game and play the game with a lot of energy. The unfortunate thing, either myself or some of the other players before me has brought more to focus is the financial aspect of the game. And I think that's going to have to dissipate a little bit and get more back to the love of the game. The love of the game is what you do on the basketball court. And I'm pretty sure that David wants that to happen. I'm pretty sure every owner wants that to happen. But no matter what happens, you know, in this business of basketball, if you didn't get paid a dime, you still would play the game of basketball somewhere. And that love has to be illustrated in the way that you play the game and the way that you carry yourself on and off the court. I think that's something that we all, as athletes, not just professional basketball players, but all professional athletes have to take into account when they're stepping out in the public side. Well, I mean, it's a lot of things about my lifestyle that I truly don't like, but I've come to accept because I've stepped into the form that I have to deal with it. There's so much speculation about things that are totally untrue, but you have to deal with it and you have to let it roll off the back and deal with it. And you learn not to bring it too much to focus because it's not worth the headache. But hopefully that will subside some as I step away from the spotlight. May not, but I have to deal with it in whatever respects. And that's one of the unfortunate things that celebrity has to deal with is the speculations and some of the untrue things that have been that are printed about them. And it's unfair, but it's a part of the whole picture, I guess, to some degree.